Hey runners, welcome back. I'm your host, RR Slugger, and today we're breaking into one of the big boys of the RoboForce series. This is 2153 Robo Stalker. Standing roughly as tall as your household Nick Bluetooth figure, the Robo Stalker isn't lacking for presence. The trans neon orange highlights harken back to those we saw on the Robo Raider, plainly displaying which division these runners belong to. Speaking of which, we received two identical figures here, both with leg printing. I guess the LEGO Group's lunar acquisition will have to wait. Besides that, everything I've already said about these figures remains true here as well. They have awesome thematic designs that fit the wackiness of the series perfectly. This zany weirdness can be found in abundance within the main build of the Robo Stalker. Starting from the top, it's impossible to miss the Robo Stalker's floppy ears, as nonsensical as they are. When they're fully poised, they remind me of an ocelot on alert. When they droop down, however, I can't think of anything other than a slobbering basset hound. Daw. The head of the mech is piloted by one of our Robo runners, shielded behind this trans neon orange windscreen piece. Contained in only one other retail set, this element is making its final appearance with the Robo Stalker today. That's not the only piece retiring here. These trans neon orange container lids are also making their final appearance within this series, given one last hurrah as Robo Disk storage modules. Certainly a fun send-off for a fun piece. Builders unfamiliar with late 90s space are likely gawking at these strange gray sloped panels on either side of the cockpit and scratching their heads. Well, believe it or not, but this element is all one single piece, and it's actually set exclusive in the light gray color. Originating from within Explorians, this is one element that didn't stand the test of time, likely for obvious reasons. Just like the Robo Raider, the Robo Stalker can eject its head to serve as a secondary craft. In this mode, the floppy ears begin to make more sense as they now take on the form of adjustable wings. Honestly, I think this gimmick really shines here, as the vessel feels well-rounded enough to be believable, not just the head of a robot flying through space. The Robo Stalker and Robo Raider are not cross-compatible. But, and you're not going to believe this, the Robo Stalker and the Robo Guardian from Spyrius are. This came as a shock to me, but both mechs featured the same gimmick using identical building techniques. I refuse to believe this was intentional, but it's still wild to see nonetheless. Another thing that sets the Robo Stalker apart from its smaller brethren is that the frame isn't left helpless when the head ejects. Remember that second runner we met earlier? Well, they're hidden away within the core of the mech. This incredibly well-designed panel flips open to reveal a central compartment with a separate set of controls. From here, the second runner can remain in command of the frame, doubling the number of available forces in an engagement, just like the Enterprise. The design of the Robo Stalker's arms are my favorite in all of RoboForce. Making liberal use of fingered hinge joints and lateral rotation at the elbows, the result is fluid, flexible motion that leaves little to be desired. At the end of one arm is a claw hand, consisting of similar construction to that of the Roboraptor. The other arm wields a multi-tool of sorts. Drill bit, scanner, laser weapon, you decide. By the way, I glossed over it earlier, but the appearance of a headless Robo Stalker is certainly a look. It reminds me a lot of something you might run into in Ultima Underworld, if my TNG references didn't date me already. I had always assumed that the windshield piece the runner was stationed behind was printed, but apparently this element is a sticker? I didn't realize this until I bought a copy of the set that was missing this detail. Oh, by the way, for some reason, I now own 4 copies of this set. I think I just kept picking them up locally over the years without remembering each time I did, and then found them all again when I started working on this series recently. Oops. Anyways, this trans neon orange windscreen is in fact set exclusive, sticker or not. I'm sure it's been poached for Ice Planet mocks in the past, but I want to discourage that practice, as a Robo Stalker essentially has to die in order for it to happen. You wouldn't hurt a puppy, would you? So everything we've covered about the mech so far seems to be a major mechanical improvement over anything we'd seen previously within RoboForce, or Spyrius for that matter. However, as we come to the legs of the frame, well, old habits die hard. They don't bend, they don't shuffle, they're as static as they come. The only motion we're afforded takes the form of tiny wheels under each foot, giving the Robo Stalker a unique accolade of receiving its locomotion from a pair of roller skates. This is a big faceplant in ingenuity. Instead of moving the ball forward, we are circling back to techniques that barely worked the first time around. I think I've come to accept it, but this simply wouldn't be my first design choice. It does, however, lead to a sturdy toy that's easy to pick up and play with. Some notable elements located on the feet are these light gray contoured slope pieces. Only appearing previously within the Unitron monorail set, they make their final appearance here within RoboForce. Quite the rarity indeed. Overall, for as much praise as I gave the Roboraptor last episode, I think I actually prefer the Robo Stalker, at least on a good day. They're so neck and neck, it's tough for me to say definitively. This is just another good LEGO set from a good LEGO theme. When looking at the back of the box, one model draws my eye instantly. This multi-pronged spacecraft with AWACS-style radar dish looks incredible and thematically fits a faction always on patrol. The mobility afforded by the various joints that were located in the Robo Stalker's arms now allow this craft to have adjustable wings. Some series don't benefit as much from this, but I often find that LEGO space themes gain a lot of value from their alternate builds. In the case of RoboForce, I think that all of the models we've looked at so far feel diegetic to the series and organically build upon their shared world. That's the mark of a solid alt build. While the legacy of alternate builds would largely die a slow death in the coming decades, mech warriors like the ones found in RoboForce would only grow in popularity as new connection types and building techniques emerged. One such set, 70707 CLS-89 Eradicator Mech, hails from 2013's Galaxy Squad and shares more than a few design cues with the Robo Stalker. For starters, flappy wing ears are back in style apparently. These big ears might be all the better to hear you with, but they serve another function as well. Just like with the Robo Stalker, the pilot capsule of the Eradicator mech can also detach and become a rudimentary spaceplane. Not only that, but after a few flips and rotations, a robotic co-pilot can take over the rest of the frame, leading to a near identical play feature to that found in the Robo Stalker. It might just be a coincidence, but I don't think it's a stretch to call this Galaxy Squad set a spiritual remake. In a realization that feels too poetic to be true, the Eradicator mech's head is even compatible with the Robo Stalker's frame. How fitting is that? On that storybook note, I'd like to thank you for watching. If you've been wondering what I've been up to lately, the answers lie on my auxiliary channels Sluggin' Around and Slugscape. I'll link a couple of videos to each at the end. I've been your host, RR Slugger, and remember, it's the runner, not the frame, that makes the difference.